Have you ever successfully got over a crush? How? Time. Takes about 5 years sometimes. You can get over a crush easily. All you need is a road and a car. Oh, and your crush standing in the middle. I realized that I was never destined to be in a relationship. So I moved on. Once you get over the fact that it will never happen, and accept it, it gets easier. If you know the person and keep seeing them, then after a while your love goggles slip off and you start to see their faults and the parts of their personality that don't gel with your own. All this stuff gets hidden from us by our own brains while we're smitten. Because evolution is telling us to go forth and multiply. Once you've seen a flaw, the glamour kind of fades. I was being bullied for having a crush on him and he joined the bullies. Please add an extra "go FK yourself" from me at your next interaction. Don't actually say it if it would be tactically inadvisable. But just know that there is someone on your side. Probably lots of people. It was 10 years ago. I'm good now. Most of the time. By dating them and discovering personality is far more important. Just wait 10 years and let them gain 100 pounds or so. Playing the long game. Nice. Happy cake day. Happy cake day. Never having one. I'm still friends with them. But what I did to get over them was think about the bad in them. Even if I couldn't find any. I knew he was hurting me. I'm a female. I knew it would never work out. We've recently been fighting a lot and that's what led me to believe it'll be easier staying as friends. I was constantly questioning if I even still liked him at this point. There were also many reasons why I shouldn't have, or couldn't have been with him anyway. I looked into the long term and with all the commotion going on. I told myself that he's my friend only and that I will only end up getting hurt. It takes me a long time to fall in love or even look at anyone in a romantic way because I've been really heartbroken before. And if I ever do fall in love again, it's close to impossible to get out of it. But these were what I did. And I successfully got over a crush who I'm still extremely close with as a friend today. Easy. You tell them you like them. Get rejected. Wallow in sadness for a couple of weeks and then poof. Crush is gone. You make it sound like a medicine dose. Symptoms will vanish in 2 weeks. Quote, I use my imagination. I am a guy. So I try to find any and all resemblances in her face to her father. Then imagine her as him. I have a pretty vivid imagination. So this works well for me. Just force yourself over it. It's not easy, but with practice you can do it. Many times. And it's one of the ways I get over breakups too. I remind myself that they aren't perfect. They have flaws. It might seem rude. But I'll point out the things that annoyed, bothered me about them. I remember things they did that were toxic or mean. And that shines a different perspective on them. I had a big crush on a girl and even went out on some dates. One of which was a Valentine's Day weekend sleepover date. Somehow I didn't even get a kiss. Wild. But I went all out. Spent over $100 making her cookies that she could eat. Vegan. And had many other dietary restrictions. And made her some really thoughtful gifts. Long story. But anyways, afterwards she had been kinda mean. But I ignored it. When we broke things off I was very saddened since we honestly were very compatible and had nearly everything. Interest-wise. In common. I still felt like she was perfect. Boot. Once I really started thinking about her. I went from that to realizing she wasn't very bright. And she was quite childish and disrespectful. She wasn't very nice to me and a lot of her comments were actually pretty belittling. That made me realize that I'm much better off without her. And that she's only human. There's no reason to waste my emotions crying over her. I suggest doing that. Remember your worth. Your crush is just a person. And they are not as perfect as you think they are. Once you start thinking about their flaws, you might come to find that you dodged a bullet like I did. Good luck. If I point out imperfections, it just makes me realize that they are a real person and I begin to love them rather than just liking them. I imagine them SG. That just makes me hungry. Haha JK. Unless. Just say love is gay. It worked for me and now I'm cured. Just tried it and now I turned gay. Thanks AE. Still worked, didn't it? Now it unattracted to her. I have 4 to 12 crushes. There's a book called How to Fall Out of Love, which details all the way you 2 can get rid of that pesky crush. Basically, it gives you tools to change your obsessive thinking pattern about that particular individual. Behavioral modification does work. Can I get that as an ebook? Told them and got turned down. Hurt for a bit, but it's better to know. Asked her out. She said no. Feelings faded away after that. Had a crush on her for like 2 years before that too. 2 years? DN, that must have been hard when she said no. By finding a new one. Parkour. Crushception. Have a crush that's inside another crush that's inside another crush. That's just an orgy. Alcohol, lots of it. And oh, did I mention alcohol? Yes, I have. It was my first crush of the same gender. I found her really cute and I loved her personality. But I knew she wouldn't like me back, so out of sheer spite I got over her in 1 to 2 weeks. Interesting. Were you still able to be friends with her? I remember how many times I have been in love in my life. Totally convinced that I would only ever have feelings for this one person. And then remember how in each and every one of those cases I ended up getting over them. There are a lot of beautiful, interesting, smart, wonderful people in this world. And the only way to meet the ones that are interested in you is to move on from the ones that aren't. Thank you so much, Zach 1018. I'm struggling right now. I'm in love with my ex. She's with a new guy who seems perfect for her. I actually give a st about her happiness, but I regret so much that I wasn't that guy. I'll move on. I've done it once before, I'll do it again. Thank you. Getting over a crush. And I share that sentiment. I really wish he'd have felt the same. I quit Instagram because I found myself going through texts and his profile a bit too much. Hope we get over this soon. By killing her. Best mate started dating her. You have to distance yourself if you're having trouble, otherwise you'll never get over it. Except that things didn't work out. Which is one of the harder things to do. Then find better things to do. Hang out with friends. Go to parties. Listen to songs you like. Have fun. See how life is still enjoyable without them. Or decide to spend the time you'd spend thinking about them on something new and worthwhile. Catch up with your family. Learn a new hobby. Do something that will make yourself proud of you. Build up your self-confidence. Your skill set. Your current friendships. But if you don't find anything good or meaningful to do, then you're just stuck feeling like st all the time. You can always find meaningful things to do. Like volunteering at a food bank. The work is a great distraction. It's about having the motivation to do those things. Which can be difficult when you are missing someone. I lack the motivation to take a shower most days. Let alone something bigger. I got really sick for a week and it just disappeared. I invited a crush to come to our training. We do medieval sport combat. So I could spend some time getting to know her in a good setting. She had a ton of fun and kept coming back. But it was clear that she was only interested in me as a friend. I was a little disappointed. But I refocused on her as a buddy instead of a crush. I just started calling her dude and the rest fell into place. I find the way I address people has a lot to do with how I view them. I've since bonded with another over our love for Axes. I've also invited her to come to our combat training when the quarantine is up. Worst case scenario here is that I have a well-trained army of Valkyrie to come with me to Wolin Festival when it's open again. It all started with tape and a knife. I need my tools. I like to bind things. I like to be bound. Basically moved schools and never saw each expect over again after few random encounters, now friends. Get severe brain damage. Or try getting severe brain damage. I saw how happy she was with other people and realized I had no place in her life and no right to infringe on her happiness because of feelings she didn't share. I liked someone before I was in a relationship. Then once I was in the relationship I forgot I had a crush on them. But when I was in the relationship my crush started texting me and saying I am the best person they know and trying to split me and my BF up. So I instantly lost all feelings I used to have for them. And now I laugh at myself when I used to like him and I feel glad that I didn't end up with him instead of my BF at the time. 'Cause it would have turned out toxic. I told her that we have no chance, so I told that I was going to block her and she was going to block me, so I didn't get tempted. I got over her and now we are really good friends after I got over her, and rumor has that she has a crush on me, lol, but I'm going to just say let's be friends for now, maybe later, but you never know. By putting myself down and avoiding her like the plague I was able to get over it. Decided I respected her too much and valued her as a friend to FK it up by asking her out. Time. Easier if you're not in contact with your crush. Harder if he is your friend and you see him, her often. Another is when you found someone else to crush on. I've been in this loophole twice. Basically there are two ways. Sit down. Take a pen and a paper and write down all the negative things about your crush. Read them whenever you miss them. Think about your crush all the FG time. Look. The point over here is your brain will get habituated by it, and after a few times you won't be able to miss them. It works same as a song. If you listen to even your favorite song for more than enough times, eventually you'll dislike it. Both of them worked for me pretty good. And just to add a little garnishes over this, find a new crush. There's plenty of fish in the sea. By dating them and realizing I idealized them too much. They were actually really boring and we had little in common except we were both attracted to one another. All the time I just start hanging out with my other friends, more preferably ones with weed, and I slowly lose interest in my crush and find a new one. You'll find may more. Some will never fully leave you. Not in a weird creepy way, just every now and then you'll think of them. Hope it all worked okay for them. By hating them. There was a girl, that I was over the moon for in elementary school. I even wrote stupid little songs about her. That I never showed her. I don't remember what got me over my crush. But in 5th grade it sort of just faded. I think part of it was overhearing T talking about trying some wine at a family wedding and thinking that was just awful. I was a weird, somewhat prudish kid. Eventually, giving myself a little time every day to feel the feelings. Then letting them go until the next day. Don't make it into a struggle or a fight. Just appreciate how beautiful it is to have a crush. And then tuck it away. Alternatively, you can also imagine them saying or doing something reprehensible. And that'll kill it off slowly but surely. It's also much less healthy or natural. So I don't recommend it. She used me. Yes, he was a nerd. I've got over the first crush when she turned into one of these girls that just party all day and sleep with anyone. I've got over the second one when she turned into wannabe Instagram influencer. It's pretty easy when you realize that maybe that other person isn't the best person. Or that you have very little in common. Time, distance, and the realization that he was a bit of a weirdo. Honestly, I wasn't even trying. I just met a girl I liked a lot more and learned from the mistakes I made with my previous crush. Now I think I'm with the love of my life. It's too soon to tell, though. I wish you luck, kind stranger. Understanding he's not worth my time, and if something will happen it simply will. I'm not gonna waste my time and let my happiness be dependent on a boy. She moved to a completely different state and social media wasn't a big thing. So, that was that. SX. Masturbation. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.